Deliberations on the 2017 budget in Cameroon have started when some major projects are still to see the light of day. Tonight, we present to you the deplorable state of roads in the Mongo division of the littoral region of Cameroon and tell you how accidents are simply unavoidable. Also ahead, the production of new identity cards announced by the President of the Republic of Cameroon. What is going to change? Equinox Television has so far been investigating. Plus, exactly 102 years ago, some Cameroonian martyrs were killed. Their crime was that they were actually opposing to their colonial masters. We revisit the achievements of Martin Paul Samba and Rudolph Douala Mangabel. That is going to be in the second part of this newscast. Stay with us. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back from the weekend. You are watching the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television. Let's begin right away. As we announced a few seconds ago, there is a general outcry of local inhabitants along the Njombe-Pinja Highway for the rehabilitation of the National Road number 5. The deplorable condition of the road with countless potholes has left many vehicles in very, very bad condition. Efforts by council authorities have not been able to solve the problem. For Hansen Chanji, revisit the daily ordeals of local inhabitants in the following story.
Welcome to National Route number 5, Douala Bafoussam Highway, a death trap in Cameroon. A country whose emergency is expected to come to fruition in 19 years. Passengers hold their breath while journeying through this road. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. It's more than me. Drivers have learned how to climb a mountain on a valley. There are countless numbers of potholes on this road. But that between Njombe-Pinja is appalling. Drivers use 20 minutes to cross over a distance of just 500 meters. Vehicles dance Bafia dance while putting passengers in an uncomfortable situation. Someone visiting this road for the first time would be quick to remark that it is not a national road. That is a lie. This is the National Road number 5, linking Douala Bafoussam. But the condition of the road has not stopped collection of toll gates. On daily basis, drivers going to Bafoussam and into Douala are forced to pay money.
Regardez derrière vous là. Ça ne vaut pas la peine. Nous on paie le péage, on fait tout.
Look behind you. We pay toll gates. What have they done with the money? Is it the council which is supposed to rehabilitate this road? No, my brother. We don't know where the money we pay for toll gate is going to. We are asking the government to do something about this situation.
Alors que nous avons tous les moyens nécessaires pour aménager le tronçon.
We have the means to rehabilitate this road. The regime has taken us hostage. This is total anarchy. Why can't they rehabilitate this road? Rehabilitating this road is not within the competence of the Njombe-Pinja Council because it is a national road.
Tout le monde sait que la nationale appartient aux travaux publics. Ça, c'est pas les communes.
But looking at the deplorable state of this road, the mayor has decided to fill the potholes with gravel, even though it is just temporary, because when rain falls, it goes back to status quo. The people of Njombe-Pinja have taken their destinies into their hands, with the Yaoundé regime giving them enough reasons to do so. Many are wondering what has happened to the so-called 3 years emergency plan of President Paul Biya, announced almost 2 years ago, which was supposed to cover, among others, reconstruction of roads. This is the second year. Not even the shadow of a project has been seen around. Yet, conferences are held on daily basis. Someone somewhere is whispering that maybe the regime is waiting for campaign period to fool all the people all the time.
Another one of such meeting, as indicated there by Hansen Chanji, was the meeting that was held today with relation to the 2017 budget in Cameroon. Before we come back to the excerpt of the minister, who was one of the officials taking part in the said meeting, it should be noted that the Minister of Public Works was also on the national route number 3 today, linking Yaoundé and the economic capital Douala. Accidents have in common on that said stretch of road due to the bad state of the road. The minister said that ongoing works would be due by October 31st, 2016, ahead of the November Female African Cup of Nations to be hosted by Cameroon. Now we talk about the devastating consequences of the bad state of roads that we are seeing across the national territory. There was a ghastly road accident that actually claimed the lives, or almost claimed the life, of a motorbike rider in Bafoussam of the western region of the country. Is currently receiving treatment in a hospital in Bafoussam after the road accident that occurred Sunday, the biker Useni Yusufa was severely injured when a small vehicle on high speed knocked him and bumped into another vehicle that was parked by the roadside. Witnesses have said that the accident resulted from a brake failure. The driver of the vehicle at the origin of the said incident is said to have escaped to an unknown destination. Investigations are currently underway. Now, officials of the University of Marwa in the far north region of Cameroon are striving to make the campus of the Higher Teachers Training College ready to receive students for the academic year 2016-2017. It was at the center of a meeting which took place recently. Babla Jonathan has the details.
Less than a month to school resumption, buildings to host students and officials of the Higher Teachers Training College of the University of Maro are still under construction. Construction works on the campus of the Higher Teachers Training College Maro are progressing, but at a slow pace. Speaking at an extraordinary session of the University of Maro Board of Directors, Board Chair Yusufa Dauda said several setbacks have hampered the works. With the project's execution rate at 60%, Yusufa Dauda says officials are going the extra mile so that the Marwa Higher Teachers Training College campus can be operational next academic year. The construction works enter the framework of a strategic development plan established by the University of Marwa. It is the first of the 8 state universities in Cameroon to develop and implement a strategic development plan.
Babla Jonathan there reporting now. After reports of how thousands of fake ID cards were circulating across the national territory, the government has decided to launch or relaunch the production of new identity cards across the country. This move to the government seeks to modernize and also secure the civil status registry in Cameroon. Now, what would become of the existing national identity cards, and how important is the decision of the President of the Republic? I put the question to you, Rolanako.
All ID cards will be withdrawn gradually from the public, we learned, as Cameroon launches this week the process of the production of new ID cards. The new ID cards, which we learned are far from all forms of falsifications, will have a magnetic stripe with a microprocessor carrying the phone number of the bearer of the new ID card. Government says the move seeks to modernize and secure the civil status registry in Cameroon, as it is alleged that 3 million fake ID cards are in the hands of unscrupulous people. That millions of foreigners who have not naturalized also have the Cameroonian ID card. Critics of the government have appreciated the move to secure IDs in Cameroon, but they fear there could be a political stunt for the BR regime as the 2018 presidential election approaches.
Now, just to note that another presidential decree that was signed or made public rather today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, is as the president has so far signed a decree appointing board members of the Kribi Autonomous Seaport. Simon Juno Jean-Paul was designated by the president of the republic, while Belinge Jeve is a representative of the presidency of the republic. Eta Fanetabi Alain Bernard is a representative of the prime ministry, the minister of at the prime ministry, the head of government, and we shall be coming back to that in our subsequent newscast. Now, how to attain objectives of the 2017 public investment budget was at the center of a meeting which took place today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. The meeting was chaired by the Minister of Finance, Alamin Ousmane May. It held at the time when the execution rate of the 2016 projects are still very, very slow, with several of them either abandoned or have not yet started at all. And it should be noted that the execution rate of public investment budgets here in the economic capital Douala as well as across the country has been extremely slow. Let's now have an excerpt of the Minister Delegate for Budget at the Ministry of Finance, Elung Paul, was speaking to Roland Akon.
We used to have the line budgeting. Today we've moved to the program budgeting, which is a budgeting that looks into the objectives of government as defined in the public policies of the government. I'll give you an example. If you want to increase access of the female child to education, we are looking at that objective, not just in the details of building classrooms and the rest, but what do we put? So it gives us a holistic view of what government has to put in terms of different activities to attain the objectives. And on this basis, we can define the activities, the various actions, and have even indicators on how to attain the objective. So performance is at the center, the core of performance budgeting or program budgeting.
Now, over a dozen heads of states and governments and the French Defense Minister went at Chad today to take part in the swearing-in ceremony of the Chadian President. Idriss Déby Itno was being sworn into office under very tight security today. Idriss Déby, who had been in power for 26 years now, is in his 5th mandate. He declared today that he is and remains the leader of all the Chadian population. Idriss Déby Itno was re-elected last April 2016 by close to 60% of the votes and was highly contested by the opposition, who were denouncing electoral fraud. Still in news out of Cameroon, jailed South African Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius has received treatment in hospital for wrist injuries. A spokesperson in prison said that the injuries were minor and he had been returned to prison after the incident of yesterday. His brother has also dismissed claims that the Olympic star wanted to commit suicide. The 29-year-old is serving a 6-year jail sentence that was slammed on him after he accepted for having murdered his girlfriend, Rivers Timcam. That was in 2013, but he was claiming that he mistook her for an intruder. Now, the head of the Paralympic Committee in Russia has vowed to take a court action following the ban of the Russian Paralympic team for the next month's competition. He said that the team would continue preparations despite the ban. Let's have the details of that report with Oro News.
The head of the Russian Paralympic Committee said a decision to suspend Russian athletes from next month's Paralympics was a grave human rights abuse. Vladimir Lukin told a news conference he will appeal the decision in court. In the meantime, he said the Russian Paralympic team will continue preparing for the Games. He says first 270 clean Paralympic athletes who have never had any violations are punished. Their fates are being broken, and then they will find out if it was true or not, why or why not. It's an incredible thing at which I am extremely shocked, he says. The International Body for Archery said the decision contravenes the main principle of the Paralympic movement. This Moscow resident said, "It's clear why this happens. This is politics. And when politics mixes with culture and sport, it's outrageous. But what can we do? Nothing. Maybe the only thing to do is simply boycott the Olympics. It's probably not the right thing to do, but that's what I think." The blanket ban on Russian athletes has been imposed by the International Paralympic Committee. Its decision comes in the wake of the World Anti-Doping Agency's McLaren report that alleged Russia had operated a state-controlled doping program.
At the peak of the rainy season, life has almost become unbearable to inhabitants here in the economic capital, Douala. That is a similar situation in the Mongo division of Cameroon. But we talk about the heavy downpour which almost disrupted the encounter yesterday that was pitting Botafogo and Union Sportif of Douala. The match was counting for the 29th playing day of the League One Championship that was taking place in stadia across the country yesterday at the weekend. For the other encounters, New Stars of Douala defeated Apaches 3-1. It should be noted that Botafogo lost to Union during the encounter yesterday at the Omisport Stadium 0-1. For the other matches, we should note that Unisports and Racing played a 0-all tie. Canon lost to Kotong 0-1. Young Sports Academy and UMS of Lum drew 0-all tie, and Dragon defeated Cosmos 2-1. And for the other matches that were played earlier, that was on Saturday, Aigle of Menua 0, Astro 0. Panthers Sportif from Day lost to Lyon Blessé 1-2. Babutu 0. Edding Football Club had 0 as well. And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Before we go, we should note that the volleyball Lionesses of Cameroon have lost their second outing today in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. They were surprised this afternoon by their Japanese counterpart 3-0. The Lionesses, it should be noted, bowed down to Brazil in their opening encounter that took place at the weekend, 3-0 in favor of Brazil. That is that for this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.